What are the first words you should say in a speech? And what should be your final words? Most people don't give this much thought, but it makes a massive difference. Tomorrow, or the next time you attend a conference, I can almost guarantee that if you listen to 20 speakers, 19 of them will open in one of two very predictable ways. The first is something like, "Hi, my name is Connor Neal. I'm from Tango, and this talk is about the latest trend in monitoring strategies." Now imagine this, you're sitting with a piece of paper in front of you that already says exactly that. You know his name is Connor, you know he's from Ireland, and you know the talk is on Tango 04. So, what's the point of repeating it? It sends a very specific signal. It says, this is the perfect time to pull your phone, check your emails, message the office, or make weekend plans. In other words, the speaker has just unintentionally told the audience to disengage. The second common start is some version of technical fumbling. Are the lights working? Is the mic on? How much time do I have? Is it plugged in? We laugh, but it happens all the time. And here's the thing, this might be the first time the audience is seeing you. You're here to represent your company or your expertise. You're supposed to be a leader in your field. But in that moment, even a kid in school giving a class presentation on giraffes might come across as more confident and prepared. So what's the right way to start a speech? I believe there are only 3 truly effective ways. And interestingly, they apply just as much when giving a speech as they do when trying to engage in a conversation at a networking event. Imagine you're at a networking gathering, and I walk up to a group of 3 people talking, and I say, Hi, I'm Connor. I'm Irish. I'm 38. I like running and sailing. Chances are they'll slowly turn away and leave me standing there. Why? Because that's not how you enter a conversation. A better approach is this. You walk up and say, I think we know someone in common. Suddenly, you have their attention. They're engaged. And it works best when it's genuine. Thanks to platforms like LinkedIn, it's easier than ever to find mutual connections. Now, let's apply that to public speaking. One of the best ways to start a speech is with a question, one that matters to the audience. Frame a real problem they face in the form of a question. That sparks thought, engagement, and curiosity. This is the third best way to begin. The second best way, a fact that shocks, something that instantly shifts the audience's thinking. For example, when there are more people alive today than have ever died, or every 2 minutes the sun provides enough energy to meet the world. Total annual energy consumption. All the lighting, all the vehicles, the air conditioning, everything we use in a year is matched by just 2 minutes of sunlight. That kind of fact can reset how we think about the world. And with Google at your fingertips, you can find astonishing facts in minutes. Just make sure they're true. And yes, both of those are true. But the best way to start a speech, the most powerful way, is the same way we start stories for children. Think back. How do we begin a story to a child? We say, once upon a time. And the moment those words are said, a child leans forward, ready, engaged. Because we've been trained from childhood to listen when a story begins. It's the opposite of the cues that tell us a boring lecture is coming. Of course, in the business world you won't say once upon a time, but there's a grown-up version. If you listen carefully at dinner tables or networking events, you'll notice that the most engaging people begin differently. They might start with, in October, I was in this very room talking with one of the world's experts on public speaking, and he said something to me, something that has stayed with me ever since. And just like that, your audience leans in. They want to know, what did he say? That's the power of story, especially in speaking and sales, where we assume self-interest. If you can share a real story from your life, why this topic matters to you, what first inspired you, or a moment when you saw it make a real difference in someone's life, you build a connection. For instance, when you saw a client benefit from your work and their life genuinely improved, that story carries weight. Ask yourself, what does that quality of life mean in the context of your work? How do you contribute to it? The stories that connect with people often come from that space, of impact, of sacrifice, of something meaningful. And stories aren't about systems, software, or data, they're about people. If you want to talk about your product, like Tango, don't just list its features. Talk about the people behind it, their dedication, their challenges, their vision. When you share your own experiences, what you've given up, what you've learned, what you care about, the audience sees the person behind the podium. And once they connect with that person, they'll want to hear what you have to say. Sure, the facts, the benefits, and the logic can all be in your handouts or your slides, but for people to really listen, they need to trust you, and they need to care. So start with a story, ask a real question, share a shocking fact. But above all, don't waste those first few seconds repeating what everyone already knows. And as you close your speech, come back to the heart of your story, the reason you spoke in the first place. Remind them of the journey you took them on. The goal isn't just to inform, it's to make them feel, remember, and act.